Take a breath. Let the noise dim, like a radio turning down, until one clear frequency remains. This moment is not generic. It's set apart, like a chair reserved with your name on it. You're not here by accident, scrolling mindlessly. You're here because something quiet but insistent is inviting you closer. Not a loud command, more like a door left slightly open, light spilling through the crack. Stay, the voice says. Don't rush past this. What begins can begin now. Few people notice this kind of invitation because it rarely shouts. It waits for the willing, the ones who still hear after the music stops. So before your attention fractures again, decide, will you linger? Will you keep listening long enough to receive what's meant for you? If your answer is yes, if your heart is still awake, then these words are unmistakably for you. When the journey starts moving again, have you ever felt life go still, like a train waiting at a signal that never turns green? Sometimes the pause isn't punishment, it's the shift before motion. Right now, something unseen is stirring beneath the surface of your days, like roots moving before a tree breaks ground. A durable change is forming, not a flash-in-the-pan mood swing. And the hinge is simple, how you respond in the next breaths. Do you open or close? Do you watch as a spectator or step forward as a participant? You don't need perfect understanding. You need a willing yes. Imagine answering an email that's been in your inbox for months, finally clicking reply. That small action reopens a conversation with your own future. If you choose presence over distraction, if you lean in rather than drift, clarity begins to rise like mist in the morning, soft at first, then suddenly obvious. What you thought was lost. Maybe you filed certain hopes under permanently closed. Relationships that drifted. Values you tried to pass on that didn't seem to stick. Rooms in your home that feel too quiet now. Here's the surprise. What looked like an ending was an intermission. The curtain didn't fall. The lights dimmed so the stage could reset. The ties you thought were severed are not beyond repair. The hearts you assumed were unreachable may already be softening in ways you can't see. You're not listening to this by coincidence. Your timing is part of the story. Consider the times a friend returned unannounced with a sentence that changed everything. I've been thinking. Restoration often arrives that way, without fireworks, carried by humility and a simple knock on the door. Hold open the possibility that renewal can begin quietly, and that today might be the day you hear the first small knock. Already prepared, already underway. Long before you asked for a sign, preparations were underway, like a table set in the next room, while you wondered whether dinner would ever be served. The feeling of being at your limit, that's often the point where a stronger hand takes the weight. Think of all the coincidences lately that weren't really coincidences. The right article at midnight, the unexpected call, the sudden clarity while washing dishes. Threads converge. Meetings arrange themselves. There's intention behind the timing, and you're being ushered into it. When you feel life nudging you, turn here, pause there. Consider that the guidance preceded the question. And if you're weary, take heart. Endurance is not the same as isolation. Where your strength tapers, help begins. Let yourself be led without needing to choreograph every step. What is starting does not rely on your perfection. It asks only for your honest consent. A holy touch and inner balance. You've been strong for others for so long that your own strength has thinned at the edges. Someone close to you needs comfort, yet your reserves feel unsteady, body tight, sleep shallow, mind restless. This is where a different kind of help arrives, not as a slogan or a pep talk, but as a quiet recalibration from the inside out. Imagine a hand steadying a trembling glass so the water settles. That's the image, not denial of pain, but a holy touch bringing your inner system back into alignment, breath deepening, shoulders loosening, thoughts unclenching. You don't have to earn this, you only have to let it in. Sit even for a minute and say, I receive what heals. Let that be your simple prayer. The outcome is subtle yet unmistakable, not a surge of adrenaline, but a grounded peace that can hold the room. Faithfulness seen, doors opening. You've advocated for those without a microphone. You've done the right thing when nobody was taking notes. That kind of faithfulness rarely trends, but it changes foundations. Consider this your acknowledgement. The unseen work was seen. And in response, doors long rusted shut are turning on their hinges. Solutions will arrive from directions that would never have made your brainstorming list. An intro through a casual acquaintance, a message from a person you once misjudged, an opportunity that doesn't fit your usual categories, but fits your calling exactly. If your name is Izenia, or if you hear yourself in that name, take this personally. You are addressed. The point is not flattery, it's accuracy. You stayed the course. Now watch for the unexpected ally, the unlikely pathway. Don't dismiss it because it feels unfamiliar. New answers often wear faces we didn't think to expect. It's not too late, but it is conditional. If you're thinking, maybe it's too late for them, for me, for this body that won't cooperate, hear this. Delay is not denial. Turnarounds can begin within hours. Small signals at first, like warmth returning to a cold hand. But there is a condition, and it's not complicated. Welcome what's being shown. Consent is the gate. It may look like making one call you've avoided, offering one apology, or choosing to believe there's still a way forward even before you see it. Faith in practice is agreeing to walk while the path is forming. Ask yourself, what is the smallest act of alignment I can take today? Do that and watch how the air shifts. Open the window a few inches and the whole room begins to breathe again. Hope is not naivete, it's cooperation with a future that's trying to reach you. Shielded from slander, moving into breakthrough. You felt it, the subtle hostility in certain rooms, the smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the words slanted just enough to bruise. Today, picture a shield being lifted over your life. Not a wall that isolates, but a covering that renders malice ineffective. Schemes lose traction, rumors run out of breath. Integrity gets a microphone. Expect practical breakthroughs, too. A financial pressure easing through a refund you didn't anticipate, a bill negotiated down, a partner who finally says, let's fix this, and means it. Unity where fragmentation felt inevitable. Your part is to stay close to what's true, to resist the impulse to retaliate, and to keep your attention on the work that matters. When protection is in place, you don't have to fight every shadow. You move forward, lighter, clearer, because the battle that would have drained you has already been answered, ending the reign of doubt. Doubt is clever. It borrows the vocabulary of wisdom and dresses up as caution. But look closely, its core is fear, not discernment. If your inner talk sounds like, who am I to hope for more? That's not wisdom, that's a ceiling. You were not designed to live under ceilings. You were shaped to carry glory, to reflect a goodness bigger than your resume. So here's the shift. When doubt presents its spreadsheet of risks, ask it one question. What future are you protecting? If the answer is nothing, release it. Real wisdom makes room for action. It clears the fog so your next step appears. You were made for more than survival, made to reveal the largeness of love in ordinary hours. Let your life be a window, not a bunker. Open it. Light travels farther than you think. And when it passes through you, others can finally see. A new era of direct encounter. New seasons don't begin with noise, they begin with paying attention. Think of it like tuning a guitar. small turns, big difference. This is not about adopting a label or memorizing a creed. It's about a living encounter that rearranges your inner furniture. When you stop holding yourself at arm's length, presence meets you where excuses end. Ask, what am I withholding? Time, vulnerability, silence. Offer that. The response is not theatrical, it's intimate. You start noticing patterns you missed, nudges that feel precise, timing that doesn't fit probability. Awakening is less fireworks and more sunrise, at first gray-blue, then suddenly you realize the whole room is bright. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Open now, mid-air and mid-sigh, mid-year. The new era begins where attention deepens. What you welcome grows. What you honor stays. Let this be the hour you stop spectating your life and step into it with both feet. Lifting the load, reordering the landscape. You've carried so much that even your rest has been working. That's why vacations feel like changing chairs on the same boat. Relief doesn't come from escape. It comes from transfer, placing what you cannot hold into stronger hands. When that happens, pressure doesn't vanish, it redistributes. Suddenly, the phone call that once drained you becomes clear. This relationship needs new boundaries. The meeting you dreaded becomes an opener. A door you weren't meant to push is replaced with one that swings toward you. Opportunities arrive like stepping stones, but only the trusting recognize them. Look for the easy yoke, tasks that match your true weight. If something chronic feels lighter this week, don't argue with grace. Receive it. Your job is not to juggle every ball. It's to carry the right ones well. Let unnecessary obligations fall with a quiet thud. Peace is not lazy, it's accurate. Healing the archive, turning sorrow into testimony. Memory is an archive, not a prison. Some rooms in that archive went dark because the light hurt your eyes. Today the light returns, but it comes gentle, like a candle, not a spotlight. The aim isn't to re-injure, it's to make whole. Imagine visiting an old chapter with a wiser guide. The scene hasn't changed, but your posture has. What once announced your failure now reveals your survival. Name the truth without decorating it. This hurt me. This shaped me. Then add new sentence, and I am still here. That still is powerful. It turns grief into seed. When you refuse to numb the tremor inside, transformation begins, quietly, stubbornly. One day you'll tell this story without heat in your voice. It won't be denial, it will be proof. The same page that once closed on you will become the hinge that opens doors for others. Home repairs of the heart. Every household carries its weather. Lately yours has been overcast, words withheld, glances that miss, doors closing a touch too hard. But behind the quiet, gears are turning. Small shifts, an apology texted without prompting, a laugh you haven't heard in months, a practical kindness. Start linking like constellations into a map. Night watches aren't wasted. Someone stood guard while your mind chased what-ifs. What breaks complex knots is rarely a dramatic speech. It's a patient thread pulled at the right angle. So watch for understated miracles, a schedule change that allows dinner together, a rephrased sentence that stops a fight before it starts, a willingness to revisit the conversation not to win, but to understand. Unity isn't uniformity, it's hearts choosing the same direction. Expect a gentle convergence. Homes heal the way mornings arrive, gradually, then obviously. The light you hope for is already seeping under the door. Courage to move, obstacles already moved. There's a question you've postponed, an email unsent, a meeting unscheduled, a decision hovering like a plane that never lands. Name it. Now consider this. The runway has been cleared while you were debating whether to taxi. Obstacles are not invitations to stop. They are announcements to slow down, look both ways, then proceed. Courage isn't the absence of butterflies, it's walking with them in your stomach. Begin with one obedient act, a call, a calendar slot, a yes you've owed yourself. Watch how momentum gathers. Often the door marked "Do not enter" swings open from the other side the moment you reach for the handle. And if your voice shakes, let it. Shaking means you're alive. Breakthroughs love movement. They meet you mid-step, not mid-thought. Today, trade speculation for action. Your future is not waiting for a better you. It's waiting for this you choosing to move. Presence that cleans the air. You can feel when a room changes. The air thins, the shoulders drop, the clock's tick loses its bite. That's what grace does to space. It purifies, steadies, plants hope like small green thing in the corner. Forgiveness is part of that fresh air. Not cheap forgiveness that ignores harm, but the kind that returns your dignity to you. I am more than what happened. Tonight, expect renewal at the level no supplement touches. A fatigue that has lived in your bones loosens and leaves. Creativity, once stranded, begins to find its way home. Prepare for simple joys to feel unembarrassed again. Making soup, humming in the car, tidying a shelf, and liking the look of it. None of this is trivial. It's evidence that your inner weather is clearing. When presence takes root, heaviness forgets your address, and your house learns a new, kinder echo. Clear sight, true friends, quiet authority. Clarity is arriving like new lenses. You didn't know how blurry things were until focus snapped in. The gossip that once stung loses voltage. It can't plug into you anymore. Guidance comes with it, not 1,000 options, but a few true paths. And people, watch who enters the frame. The right ones bring peace, not performance. You feel more yourself in their presence, not less. Let them stay. The wrong ones drift without drama. Bless them as they go. Discernment is not suspicion. It's hospitality with boundaries. As you choose truth over noise, a quiet authority settles on you. You don't have to argue your worth or over-explain your decisions. Fruit speaks. What grows from your life will be its own defense. Align with that growth. Invest in conversations that make you kinder, not louder. The result is durable, vision that holds, relationships that last, and steps that land true. A gentle separation, a sharper seeing. Not every subtraction is a loss. Sometimes love edits your cast so the story can breathe. If certain people drift, don't chase the tide. Notice the peace that follows. Protection can look like distance. As space opens, your perception refines. Like switching on a light in a hallway you've walked in the dark for years. What worried you yesterday begins to feel solvable, even small. Ask yourself, what actually needs my presence and what only needs my permission to go? Release the roles you outgrew. Keep what is true, kind and quietly strong. You'll feel your inner compass recalibrate. Less noise, more signal. Winning won't arrive with a banner. It'll come as a quiet rightness. The sense that you're standing in your lane. Unhurried, unclenched. Trust the edit. Pruning is not punishment, it's strategy. The fruit you're meant to bear needs light. Let the branches that block it be removed. The meaning in every mile. Look back with honest eyes and you'll notice a pattern. Timing that didn't make sense then. Threads that only connect now. Nothing was wasted. Resistance that once felt like a wall became the gym where your inner muscles formed. Today, the invisible weight you've carried is being lifted, like taking off a backpack you forgot you were wearing. Light enters where old narratives lived, and the habit loops that kept you circling begin to unwind. If you catch yourself saying, "That's just how I am," pause. Is it identity or inertia? Let grace introduce a truer sentence. that was how I coped. This is how I heal. Meaning doesn't erase pain, but it rescues it from pointlessness. When you can name the why beneath the wound, you hold the key that opens tomorrow. Step through. The room ahead is brighter because you finally understand the journey that brought you here. Learning to rest while the ground moves. Trust isn't the absence of tremors, it's the decision to anchor while the floor hums. You don't have to earn a right to be comforted. You're invited. Imagine sitting in a chair built exactly to your frame, hearing, "I see you. I'm here." That's sanctuary. Let yourself be witnessed without performing. No tidy conclusions, no inspirational pose. Real rest happens when you stop pretending you don't need it. Paradoxically, that's when strength returns. The safest stretch of your path is opening now, not because life will suddenly obey your plans, but because presence is nearer than your breath. Hope isn't a mood, it's a source. It lights from within, steady enough to travel. Ask for what you truly need: clarity for one decision, courage for one conversation, calm for one night. You'll notice the atmosphere shifting, less bracing for impact, more leaning into care. This is how storms lose their teeth. The purpose in waiting. Waiting isn't empty time, it's incubating time. Seeds don't look busy, but they're doing the most important work: becoming. You've mistaken silence for neglect. It was preparation. Even when nothing seemed to move, pieces were aligning off stage. Provision can be quiet. Picture a reservoir filling behind a dam. The release is sudden, but the gathering was gradual. When discouragement whispers, "You're stuck," answer with curiosity, "What is forming in me that can't be rushed?" That question shifts you from impatience to participation. And remember, you're closer than you think. Often the last stretch feels the longest because your senses are heightened. You're listening, scanning, hoping. Good. Stay awake. The first hint of change may be subtle. An idea you can't shake, an email that lands at the right minute, a yes in your spirit where there used to be only maybe. Keep your hands open. Fullness finds the open hand. Your truest self, pain transformed. Before any label, before any failure, there was a design. You, whole and radiant. That blueprint is not lost. It's buried under dust the heart collects. Pain doesn't have to be denied to be redeemed. Let it be compost. What once cut you now nourishing what is growing. Ask your pain a kinder question. What did you protect? What truth were you trying to tell me? Then listen. In that listening, life begins again at the root. Dormant desires you shelved to survive can be brought back to the workbench. Hold them in the light. And notice, they still fit your hands. Hope endures because it's native to you, not imported. You were made to carry it. When you move from rehearsing the wound to harvesting its wisdom, your story changes shape. Not smaller, but deeper. Not ignoring the scar, but letting it guide you to where healing overflows. Protected by subtraction, repaid in justice. Some departures are mercy wearing a disguise. What felt like abandonment was, in truth, a door gently closed by a careful hand. You were spared rooms that would have drained you. Let gratitude rewrite the memory. And for the goodness you gave in secret, time you offered, warmth you extended when your spirit was thin, there will be a fitting return. Not transactional payback, but alignment. Resources meeting responsibility, opportunities meeting readiness, honor meeting integrity. Justice, in this sense, is wholeness restored. Expect confirmations that feel personal, a word that lands like it was addressed, a provision that fits your need precisely, a reconciliation that preserves your dignity. Keep sowing in the hidden. The hidden is where roots grip. When the visible comes, it will not be a fluke. It will be the natural harvest of a faithful field. Receive without apology. Your open hands have long been ready. A season of establishing. Now begins the steadying. Not the rush of a launch, but the quiet of foundations setting. Your mind, once running a marathon at midnight, is learning the art of stillness. Thoughts line up instead of colliding. Solutions arrive without the panic that used to summon them. This is not passivity. It's settled strength. What is built in this season will last because it's aligned. Values, rhythms, relationships, all under one roof. Don't despise the hiddenness. Greenhouses look ordinary from the outside, but inside, a future is being cultivated. When you emerge, people will call it sudden. You'll know it was patient. Pay attention to simple practices that keep the peace you've received. Unhurried mornings, clear boundaries, honest no's, generous yes. These are not small, they're structural. Feel the unseen hand that guarded you now guiding you. Let the work cure. Let the beams hold. Longevity is being poured. Inner shift clear way. Something inside is clicking into place, a gear meeting its partner, so the whole machine runs without grinding. Decisions feel less like battles and more like alignments. You release what no longer exists and, almost immediately, the path ahead gains shape. Notice the markers. Rooms that once drained you now feel neutral. Conversations that spiraled now land gently. Responsibilities sit lighter on your shoulders. People may behave differently around you, not because you demanded it, but because your presence broadcasts a new clarity. This is the fruit of letting go. Capacity returns, attention sharpens, joy finds you doing ordinary things. Keep practicing the art of release. Place yesterday where it belongs, honored, not idolized. Then ask, what small obedience belongs to today? Do that and watch how life answers, often with doors that were always there, now obvious, now open. The way isn't forced, it's revealed, and revelation loves a surrender heart. Trust the voice above the noise. There's a chorus in our world, opinions, headlines, hot takes. Useful sometimes, exhausting often. But there's also a steady frequency beneath it all, and it carries a different authority. Draw close to that signal. Certainty is approaching, not as swagger, but as alignment, truth settling into your bones. Let the loudest voice in your life be the one that formed you, not the one that frightens you. Take the first step you've delayed. Don't wait for a perfect map. Watch how the ground appears beneath your feet as you move, path manifesting step by step, like lights along a runway. You'll notice something else. Intercessors you didn't recruit, people praying, rooting, nudged to care for you without knowing why. Take that as evidence of precise care. Your part is simple. Refuse to be discipled by panic. Practice smaller obediences. Make the call, send the note, set the boundary. When you give loyalty to what is true, momentum answers. And the noise? It keeps talking, but it loses its power to steer you. The quiet power of the hidden. Not everything that is real is public. Some of the strongest beams in a house are never seen. Let this be your comfort. You don't need a spotlight to be significant. You need nearness, to presence, to honesty, to your own center. When interior peace becomes your signature, people feel it long before they understand it. They breathe easier around you without knowing why. That's impact. So release the reflex to perform. Trade exhibition for integrity. Ask, what practice keeps me near? Maybe it's the 10-minute pause before the day begins, the short walk without a phone, the prayer that says only, "Here I am." Over time, that stillness travels. It alters conversations, softens tempers, steadies hands. Influence from the inside out is slow and stubborn. It doesn't flare, it sustains. Let your life be a greenhouse for durable fruit. Patience that doesn't snap, kindness that doesn't angle, courage that doesn't shout. the world can chase applause. You will host peace, and peace, in turn, will host others. Every motion held in a steady hand. You are not navigating alone. Starts, stops, and sudden turns are not signs of failure. They're the choreography of a wiser guide. When you move, move with purpose. When you stand still, stand like a tree, learning the value of roots. When you pivot, pivot cleanly, no self-condemnation for changing course. The heaviness that used to cling to old stories is loosening. What felt complicated is clarifying. This is the gift of deep understanding. You don't need more noise, just better sight. Let this season be defined by 3 words: simple, peaceful, balanced. Simple isn't shallow, it's focused. Peaceful isn't passive, it's strong without strain. Balanced isn't bland, it's beauty under control. Build rhythms that reinforce this: consistent rest, honest work, boundaries that protect what matters. And when you're unsure, ask for wisdom without drama. It arrives like water finding low places naturally. What's being built in you now will carry weight without creaking. Let the hand that steadied you also set your pace. The soft strength of a redeemed story. Endurance has been doing quiet alchemy inside you, turning raw survival into a gentler kind of power. Not forceful, not brittle, resolute. Imagine holding a lantern that once burned you. Now it lights the way for others. Your story doesn't need polishing to be useful. It needs truth. Tell it with mercy, toward yourself and toward those who didn't know better at the time. The mark of presence upon you will do what arguments can't. It will make disbelief run out of breath. Where skepticism once saw only your flaws, it will begin to notice fruit, steadiness under pressure, compassion in conflict, clarity in confusion. Let your courage be kind and your kindness be brave. When you speak, speak from scars that have healed, not wounds that are fresh. Healing humbles us, it also equips us. Be willing to be the evidence someone else needs, that resilience can be quiet, that hope can be intelligent, that faith can be deeply sane. Gratitude for the doors that didn't open. Waiting seasons don't just test patience, they train perception. Looking back, you'll thank God for detours that kept you from hallways with no exits. That's not spin, that's clarity. There is a living current moving through your days now. Fresh energy, real renewal, not hype but health. Connections are being woven with intention, not convenience. You'll find yourself grateful even for the almosts, the maybes, the near misses, because they preserve the space needed for the right thing to land. Practice this prayer. Thank you for what is coming, and thank you for what didn't, for reasons I don't yet see. Gratitude doesn't erase grief, it right-sizes it. It keeps your hands open so you can receive what fits. Pay attention to small alignments, schedules syncing without strain, ideas arriving with timing that feels choreographed, peace attending choices that once spiked your anxiety. These are not accidents, they're signatures. Recognize them and let thanks rise naturally. Activation, deep rest, and a calling that fits. Stagnation is breaking. What sat for months is moving. What hid in shadow is being brought to light. Obstacles are being removed, not by frantic effort, but by rightful authority. At the same time, rest is deepening, not as escape, but as trust. You won't need to clutch every lever. Your faithfulness has weight now. Your words carry quiet gravity in places where you were once overlooked. Use them sparingly and truthfully. This is also a commissioning. You're invited to internalize the message you've heard, not as a motto, but as metabolism. Let it feed your decisions, pace your days, steady your leadership. Your calling isn't to impress an audience, it's to bless a community, the one already around you, and the ones yet to arrive. Expect assignments that match your shape, work that's demanding but not depleting, stretched but not strained. Where purpose and peace meet, linger. That intersection is your lane, a benediction for the road. Before we part, receive this. There is more to be revealed. Peace that outruns explanation will accompany you, not as a momentary mood, but as a traveling companion. When questions multiply, favor will shade you like a canopy, softening heat, redirecting harm. You won't be spared every ache, but you will not be unaccompanied in any of them. Ask for wisdom and expect it. Walk with humility and expect doors to honor it. Keep choosing the small, faithful thing, listening before speaking, blessing before boasting, returning to presence before reacting. These are the quiet revolutions that change a life. As you go, may your mind stay clear, may your steps ring true, may your home learn a new echo of gentleness. And when you sense the nudge to draw near again, don't hesitate. Return quickly. There's always more light for the willing, always more covering for the trusting, always more life